I declare that the 538th Convocation of McMaster University for the conferring of degrees is now in session.
Please be seated. Good afternoon to you all. My name is David Wilkinson, Provost and Vice President Academic of the University. This afternoon I have the great pleasure of acting as your Master of Ceremonies and of welcoming you all to this Convocation ceremony. Before we start our formal program, may I first ask everyone in the hall to switch off any electronic device that may ring during the service. I would now like to call upon our Chancellor, Dr. Suzanne Labarge, to make her own welcoming remarks.
Welcome, honored guests, staff, faculty, families, friends, and most importantly, graduands. This is an exciting day for all of you who are graduating today, as well as for all those people who have supported you and stood behind you, and in many cases have had a key role in your being here today. You have achieved a great deal to get here, and you should all be very proud of your success and looking forward to what the future might bring. Congratulations, and enjoy the ceremony.
I would now like to introduce Dr. Patrick Deane, President and Vice Chancellor, who will present our honorary degree recipient.
Ms. Chancellor, by the authority of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present Julian Davies. Julian Davies is, juxtaposition intended, a giant in the field of microbiology. Described by the journal Nature Biotechnology as an icon of the European biotech industry and a pioneer of metagenomics, Dr. Davies has built a diverse and influential career in the private and academic sectors in the United States, Europe, and Canada. After beginning his career at Harvard Medical School, he soon crossed the Atlantic, where he was a visiting scientist in microbial genetics at l'Institut Pasteur in France. He became head of his department in 1985. He returned to North America as a professor in the Department of Biochemistry at the University of Wisconsin, later moving to the University of British Columbia, where he was a professor and head of the Department of Microbiology and Immunology before becoming Professor Emeritus in 1997, a title he retains today. He also served as the director of the Life Sciences Institute at UBC, and he is currently a member of the Scientific Advisory Board for the Michael G. DeGroote Institute for Infectious Disease Research at McMaster University. As his academic career flourished, Dr. Davies also made significant contributions to biotechnology through the private sector. He served as research director and then as president of Biogen SA, a leading biotech company based in Geneva, Switzerland. In Canada, he has continued his entrepreneurial focus as the executive vice president of technology development for Cubist Pharmaceuticals and as the founder, president, and chief executive officer of Terrigen Diversity, Inc. The research Dr. Davies has undertaken throughout his career has been groundbreaking. He gained an international reputation for his role in identifying how major classes of antibiotics kill bacteria. He has made multiple significant contributions to isolating antibiotics from natural sources, understanding their functions, and discovering how bacteria acquire resistance to antibiotics. His studies on recombinant DNA had a significant and lasting impact on modern biotechnology. His service to his field extends beyond the laboratory, however, as he has served, to name just a few examples, as president of the American Society for Microbiology, as a governor of the American Academy of Microbiology, as the director of Genome BC, as scientific director of the Canadian Bacterial Diseases Network, and as president of the International Union of Microbiological Societies. Ms. Chancellor, as you would expect of a scientist and leader with these credentials, Dr. Davies has received numerous honors. He is a Fellow of the Royal Society, London, of the Royal Society of Canada, and of the American Academy of Microbiology. He has received prominent awards around the world, including the Hooks-Russell Award from the American Society of Microbiology, the Tom Award of the Society of Industrial Microbiology, Microbial Chemistry Medal from the Kitasato Institute, the Scheele Award from the Swedish Academy of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and the American Society for Microbiology Lifetime Achievement Award. He has also received several honorary degrees. And today, Ms. Chancellor, I present Dr. Julian Davies to you so that you may confer upon him another, the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, from McMaster University.
Julian Davies, by the authority of McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, in McMaster University, with all the rights and privileges pertaining to that degree. Congratulations. We're going to get you to sign this first. I would now like to invite Dr. Davies to deliver the convocation address.
Thank you. Well, this is quite a business, isn't it? I'm very happy to be here. I'm truly greatly honored to be awarded an honorary doctorate in health sciences, I guess, at McMaster University. And I appreciate this. This is probably one of the most important awards that I've had because I've had connections with McMaster for some time. I've enjoyed working here and working with the faculty here, and I almost feel that I'm part of the faculty already, but now I really am part of the faculty. And since I'm probably have an important position at McMaster, I can order a few people around, but I'll do my best anyway. I first of all really want to thank and congratulate the new graduating students, be it master's degrees, PhDs, or bachelor's degrees. This is a wonderful day for all of you, and it's a wonderful day for me because I look out here, and I was going to say that I can see all these cheerful, youthful faces, but I can't see anything. But you can take it for read that I see you and that you are really the future of science or medicine or whatever field you want to participate in. One of the things I'd like to tell you also is that I want to thank your parents because your parents obviously played a considerable role in getting you to where you are, but I think that speaking as a rather errant youth that I was, my parents deserved a lot of credit for amazing patience and putting up with things that I didn't want to do and did, or did want to do and was not allowed to, and a variety of things like this. So I was a normal child. I may be an honorary doctorate of life health sciences at the moment, but I was completely normal, I think. I'm saying I think because my sister would not agree with me. But I'm very happy to be here to talk with you, and as I say, I congratulate you on your efforts you're the future of medicine and science, and I hope that you can really exercise your responsibility in these areas. You haven't finished learning yet, and in fact, as far as I'm concerned, you never finish learning. There are always new things to learn, new things to do, and in many cases, there are things that nobody else agrees with, but if you believe in something, then you should really go ahead with it. Another thing that I feel is very important, and this is something that has not driven my life, but it's given me goals, is it's important to have heroes. I've had a number of scientific, now when I mean heroes, I don't mean Wayne Gretzky or anybody like that. I mean real scientific heroes or heroes in your, who is Wayne Gretzky anyway? In people in your field, people who you know and you can appreciate and you can see that they are doing things in the field that perhaps nobody else is doing. And I've always had heroes. I still have heroes, can you believe it or not? Nowadays, some of my heroes are younger than I am, but that doesn't matter. They're people who I respect, who I think are leading their respective fields, and they are people who are models in particular science that I'm doing. So this is something I think which is not so common any longer. As I said, people have sports heroes, but you as intelligent, intellectually trained people, you should in fact have heroes in your field. And you should try to model yourself on your heroes, you know, unless they're not very nice people. But if they are delivering the kinds of experience and output that you would like to do, then you should make them your heroes. You can't get away without them. It's really a very important thing, and it can guide you very strongly. Another thing that I'd like to tell you, you know, I'm telling you all this because, well, let me think. I was going to say, well, I think you should know it. I think that you should appreciate the fact that you have these people who are leaders in the field, whatever field it is. You can, I mean, maybe even a politician could be a hero, but I doubt that. But you can do things when under the guidance with other people. And that I think is one of the best pieces of advice I can give you. Another thing that I can give you is, don't look back. You know, what happened yesterday is gone. And a lot of people worry about what happened yesterday when they should be worrying about tomorrow. So you must always be looking forward. I've had all kinds of failures in experiments and a variety of other things. I've lost tennis matches and things like this, but once that's done, it's over. So don't worry about things in the past. It's not worth it. And it really is draining on your own energy if you worry about what's happened in the past. So this is I can't say that I'm a psychologist or anything like this, although I think my doctorate gives me some clout in this area. But I would say you must really think ahead. Always have something going that you can go on to. And always have goals. And usually those goals can be driven by the people who are your heroes, people who have done good things in your field. So please act like real people. And that's like me, right? And that means that you must have goals. You must keep going. Now, another thing that I wanted to tell you is that it's important to have good relationships with other people. It's important to have good manners and have respect for all other types of people. For example, when I was small, I was taught good parlor manners. I was taught the manners about going to the toilet and things like this, which doesn't seem like very much, but I was taught all the rules that you had to take in order to do these things. And you need also to have these rules so that you have manners. And I'll give you a very good example of a rule which I've always remembered, and that is my father once, I was talking with my father at one time, and I said, Dad, what's a gentleman? And his response was, a gentleman is a man who takes his hat off before he hits a lady. and things like this can guide you in your life. That there's certain things you can do and certain things that you cannot do. But you must have this guidance. And nowadays, manners, that is interactions, even quiet interactions between people, are being considerably disturbed, in my opinion, by the use of cell phones. I really feel that people tend to love their cell phone more than they love their family or themselves. And I wish that people would think more about use of cell phones, particularly in public. Now, when I say this, it's amazing at UBC, at departmental seminars. I look around the department seminars. We have a very distinguished faculty, and you can always see some people sitting there like this. You know what they're doing. They're not listening to the seminar. They're reading their cell phone. That's not polite. And a certain level of politeness or politesse is something which is very important in what you do and your interactions with other people. So I don't want to keep you going, because I could go on for hours and tell you these things, but I'll tell you one final thing, and that is that I am in a position now as a scientist, and I've won awards and things like this. I never expected to do this. I wanted to be a scientist when I was a small boy, but I never realized that science would so broaden my perspective on the whole world. And I've been fortunate in having a family that if I'm asked to go somewhere to an interesting country, I accept. And my family have accepted, and we've moved around, we've learned a lot, and I guess I'm fairly international. But it's something that you must think about. Don't stay stuck in the mud. Get out of the hole from time to time and go and do different things in different places. And use your degree, because that's your knowledge, and that will get you in many places. Thank you very much.
Dr. Davies, on behalf of the university, I'd like to thank you for the words of advice that you have given the graduates. I think one thing he's done is to remind us that today is not only the end of something, but very much for all of you, the beginning of something new. And when we talk about heroes, I would also remind Dr. Davies that the reason he's here today, he is a hero to a number of our faculty and has been for a long time. So again, we are delighted that you are now finally part of the McMaster family, and we thank you very much.
Dr. Patrick Deane will now come forward to present the graduands to our Chancellor for admission to their degrees.
Will the graduands please stand? Madam Chancellor, on behalf of McMaster University Senate, I present to you these candidates in order that you may confer the appropriate degrees upon them, and I bear witness that they are worthy and suitable. May I also request that you confer the appropriate degrees in absentia upon all these candidates who have successfully completed the required course of study, but who are not present.
Graduands, by my authority and that of the McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to admit those before me today and those in absentia to their individual degrees in McMaster University with all of the rights and privileges pertaining to those degrees. My sincere congratulations to you all. Please be seated.
Graduates, I now ask each of you to join me on stage so that the Chancellor and I may welcome you to the McMaster community of scholars.
Ladies and gentlemen, so that each graduate's name may be heard, it would be appreciated if during the presentation of the graduands, you would hold your collective applause to the end of each degree category. Thank you. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Philosophy. Sohail Nushad. Sarah Reed. Hafiz Abiola Hassan. Stephanie Ross. Brianne Pelagia Cuddington. Victor Hugo Ferreira. Heather Jean Gallipo. Stephanie Diane Sawyer. Heather Elise Vans Egelen. Melik G. Zeden. Heather Sarah Longpre. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Medicine and Doctor of Philosophy. Benny Dua. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Masters of Science. Ayman Mujad Abed Musa. Karina Alina Andrietta. Crizia May C. Francisco. Pradeep Manjoy Gunatilaki. Cody William Hunt. Kevin Chi Lin. Sunil Epan Maman. Syed Ali Mansour. Zubair Usman. Marikian Vaiti Taiski. Jennifer DeCruz. Brittany Bernadette Julian. Sarah Muslin. Ziad Sol. Sabu Thomas. Quinn Patrick Kolthoff. Anupa Prashad. Eric Stephen Habib. Philip Vincent Nguyen.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Medicine. Caitlin Elizabeth Adair. Corey Alec Manzo Anderson. Nisha Aurora. Lawrence Joseph Batmazian. Matthew Anthony Baraducco. Emily Alice Bells. Blair Bigham. Morgan Taylor Black. James Benjamin Blaine. Christopher William Blake. Samantha Rose Boggs. Alexandra Marie Borwain. Cecily Ann Michelle Boss. Gaurav Bose. Melissa Bota. Grace Irene Bravo. Lita Cameron. Alyssa Catherine Cantaruti. Stephanie Marie Carnielli. Allison Carter Ramirez. Simone Chaudhry. Sarah Chaudhry. Deepayan Chaudhry. Julie Rosanna Chater. Kevin Kai I Chen. Kathy Chen. Thaven Chathan. Emily Y. Yi Chung. Beverly Mallory Chow. Nassim Kolashaw. Elizabeth Mary Cox. Genevieve Faye Velasco Cruz. Anna Svetkovich. Kayla Sear. Shivani Dadwal. Danica DeYoung. Gagan Singh Dhaliwal. Lauren Taylor Diamond. Daniela Dimitri. Magna Dua. Nagam El Hussein. Yasmin Isaji. Jordan Farag. Carolyn Ann Feely. Joanne Albertina Fernandez. Kimberly Rose Fernandez. Jacqueline Filto. Sarah Kathleen Fui. Alexander Michael Forrester. William Arthur Fung. Zainab Furkan. Vanya Gavranich. Hannah Rachel Getty. Sumit Gill. Anthony Donald Giordano. Smitha Girithar. Gabriella Simone Gladstein-Young. Michelle Jordana Gould. Lindsay June Shannon Griffith. Hugh Guan. Andrea Gubert. Perry Yonping Guo. Manika Gupta. Colin Glenn Hebb. Joshua Michael Hockman. Stephen Wynn. Gabrielle Inglis. Abid Ismail. Hira Jamshade. Bradley Joel Johnson. Ashish Kalani. Kavita Kanga. Patrick Taylor Keating. Sean Alexander Kennedy. Sumit Khanna. David Kim. Lisa Kim. Stacy Kling. Jennifer Ann Kloak. Robert John Koziarski. Shelley Kwong. Raman Kumar. Candice Sonia Kung. Jennifer Jinghua Kwan. Priscilla Kwan. Stephanie Marie Kolek. Heather Dawn Laxo. Laurel Lynn Laxo. Allison Tin Sum Lai. Jackie Lai. Marissa Loriano. Kevin Lee. Rachel Lee. Jonathan Shiloh Lipsick. Anne Louise Lysias. Sarah Elizabeth McIsaac. Fabio Demian Sandino Magistris. Atika Farouk Ahmed Malik. Farheen Manji. Derek Stewart McClellan. Julie Allison Mercereau. Kimberly Dawn Milestone. Miona Milutinov. Jeanette Luann Moores. Laura Catherine Morrissey. Andrew Moses. Ali Asgar Mola. Faisal Nima Naji. Elizabeth Anastasia Nidra. Michael John Obida. Alexandra Anna Oltenu. Richard Kenji Onizuka. Allison Nicole Osborne. Tyler Benjamin Oswald. Daniel Joseph Ozier. Christopher Pan. Stephanie Ann Pallone. Casey Park. Sarah Candice Payne. James Allen Ray. Amrit Singh Rai. Sunita Kaur Rai. Vamana Rajaswaran. Stephanie Ryder. Alexandra Shana Rendley. Amanda Lee Ritzma. Daniel Matthew Shea Rosenbaum. Ariella Rosenick. Remy Sambi. Matthew Kenneth Sondre. Evan Schneider. Michael Douglas Scott. Vivia Selvanathan. Adil Raza Shirazi. Mandeep Sidhu. Samantha Spalding Sigurdsson. Jennifer Catherine Smythe. Melissa Catherine Snyder. Alexander Soon. Catherine Elizabeth Suk. Anasuya Shri Surendran. Daniel Jonathan Zoke. Juthika Tucker. Zoya Thauer. Karthika Thiagaraja. Katie Ann Nicole Thomas. Susan Tran. Michael Tronconi. Lakshman Vasantha Mohan. Christine Laura Watt. Victoria Kathleen Weaver. Nissi Wei. Willie Weng. Matthew Allen Westerink. Ashley Faye White. Joanna Marie Wilgoss. Robin Parnell Winterbottom. Luke David Eric Witherspoon. Jacinda Dion Wong. Alea Yassin. Herman Young. Christopher David Young. Jia Zhang.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Health Sciences, Midwifery. Kimberly Alderdice. Allison Beckendam. Laura Bernstein. Jesse Brown. Amanda Danielle Cordesino. Deborah Ann Crum. Harriet Ann Ferrant. Carly Hack. Jewel Kirkopoulos. Bridget Matheson. Claire McCormick. Pamela Moore. Christina Rattel. Emily Lynn Roth. Amanda Jean Scrignoli. Rebecca Thompson. Jenna Nadine Wilson. Corinne Whitveen.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Health Sciences Honours. Danielle Abdali. Humja Umjad. Alexandra Marie Annabelle. Danya Aslam. Akshdeep Singh Bhatia. Priyank Bhatnagar. Celise Bieber. Adriano Bolfan. Rosalie Burns. Belle Tsao. Adrian Chun Hei Chan. Clarence Chan. Elizabeth Chan. Pauline Chang. Rushil Chaudhary. Branson Chen. Stanley Chen. Amanda Vinci Chu. Louise Hui Li Chong. Ashley Chu. Christopher Chung. Caitlin Caldwell. Sarah Davies. Chantel Diane Jeanette DeMay. Quinn Richard Demick. Jasneet Kaur Dhaliwal. Tui Ling Do. Emma Dudley. Alana Marie Fraser. Leandra Gallero. Nathan Kenneth John Gamble. Andrew Gibson. Nisha Goyal. Maxwell Goodwin. Muskan Gurnani. Kayla Gussenbauer. Simon Harry Hendy. David Zachariah Risk Hanna. Jenny Huang Nguyen. Carissa Lynn Hollier. Matthew Alexander Jessam. Haley Yvonne Jones. Spencer Gordon Jones. Jeremiah Jew. Jennifer Joseph. Sapreet Karlan. Mariam Solomon Assad Kamel. Yalda Karimi. Haniel Kaur. Hanaya Khan. Olga Kudorova. Jean Ki Yu Kim. Jacob Eli Klugsberg. Joshua Frank Koenig. Anita Kuiperam. Philip Sebastian Bernd Kolb. Christine Lee. Guanru Lee. Sofia Ruqayya Muhammad. Victoria Danielle Maish. Julian Jinto Maliksi. Amita Mall. Yasmin Mansour. Daniel Andrew Martinez. Liam Alexander Matthews. Maria Merlano. Francisca Alina Miller. Michael Joshua Milo. Zainab Asiya Muhammad. Alexa Genevieve Christine Mordost. Laura Jane Morrison. Nanveet Nat. Nadine Nejoti. Catherine Hong No. Linda Nguyen. Kyle Oosterman. Stefan Mark Oreskovich. Chika Stacy Orua. Sezgi Seda Ozel. Shagufta Panchbaya. Teresa Park. Aaron Partridge. Nikunj Patel. Soya Peloso. Jesse Zixin Pang. Andrew Perella. Eli Jamil Prentice Crapper. Sarah Kayum. Katrina Marie Radaseo. Hakanwal Randawa. Joshua Terrence Rempel. Tolzara Rita. Alexandra Robinson. Rod Rojana Peaches. Catherine Marina Ross. Meza Sudik. Amrit Sandhu. Alexander Sapa. Megan Kathleen Schloth. Connor Sheridan. Brian Shin. Seha Shin. Natasha Singh. Arunima Sivanand. Vishalini Sivaraja. Kimia Saruri. Colin Tan. Ambika Tejpal. Tegan Lindsay Telesnicki. Mark Williams 10. Amanda Noor Tufeli. Eunice Valerie Sang. Perry Rebecca Tutelman. Jordan Evelyn Vernon. Thusyanth Vijayakumar. Danusha Vinaraj. Huan Wen Wong. Pai Wen Wang. Rujan Caroline Wang. Tianyu Wang. That was Daniel Wang. We've missed. Jasmine Marie Waslowski. Andrew Lawrence Haddad Webster. Matthew William Henry Wong Pak. Yazani Win. Anne Zha. Michael Kwan Zhu. Catherine Yang. Alice Yi. James Yoon. Kimberly Young. Shizhou Yuan. Julian Koch Zandberg. Ling Zhang. Yushen Zhang. Yuan Zhu.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Graduate Diploma in Health Services and Policy Research. Afiz Abiola Hazan.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the Diploma in Child Life Studies. Erika Bialik. Cassandra Patsy DeCoste. Rachel Hines. Katie Hodgins. And Katie Sutherland.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to introduce to you Miss Linda Nguyen, a graduate of the Bachelor of Health Sciences Honours Program, who will be delivering the valedictory address.
Good afternoon, Chancellor Labarge, President Deane, Dean Kelton, esteemed faculty, families, friends, and fellow graduates. My name is Linda Nguyen, and I'm honored and humbled to stand before you today as the valedictorian. I would like to begin by saying thank you to our families for always supporting us through our academics and endeavors. Remember and be grateful for those times that they listened to our successes, frustrations, and challenges, and were proud of us in all respects. Thank you to our professors who taught us the process of learning, shared with us their experiences and knowledge, and encouraged us to explore our passions. During our time here at McMaster, we overcame many challenges. I want us to remember that we may be students, but we all have our own personal story to share. I want to share my story with you today. I am a student in the Bachelor of Health Sciences Honours Program and also a part of the Child Health Specialization. Growing up, I never spoke English at home because both my parents were immigrants from Vietnam. I arrived on my first day of kindergarten, not knowing a single word of English. In elementary school, I rarely spoke at all and could barely communicate with my peers. Translation gradually became like second nature to me as I communicated with both my family and community. Although learning English was my long-term struggle, having the confidence to speak in front of large audiences is still something I struggle with. So you can believe me when I say I'm nervous today. Nervous, but extremely grateful to be here representing all of these incredible graduates. Although overcoming these challenges are difficult, working on them has taught me how to have the courage to take risks. I'm sure that for all of us, the experiences and challenges that we have encountered have shaped us into the individuals we are today. And it's when we take a step outside of our comfort zones that we often find a sense of deep fulfillment. As we move forward, I want all of us to remember our personal story and journey here at McMaster. Something that has always resonated with me is a quote that the Assistant Dean of BHSC, Del Harnish, has often said: "Learning is not linear. It can be risky, unpredictable, and messy. And that is the wonderful part." Think back to those first days when we arrived on campus and felt so lost as we navigated our way to lectures and classes, hoping to find a familiar face. And now, we sit here confidently, having acquired both knowledge and skills throughout our journey. I understand that today, I'm not only representing my fellow graduates in the BHSC program, but also the graduates from medicine, midwifery, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, child life, and graduate school. Despite our programs, I'm sure that we can all relate to our experiences with the problem-based learning approach and the extensive amount of group work that we've had. We all remember those initial days when we tried to reach a group consensus over a decision and how difficult it was. But we also laughed over inside jokes, ate meals, and watched movies together. As time-consuming as these group meetings may have been, looking back, I'm confident that we loved every moment of them. Our peers, professors, mentors, and friends became our new kind of family here at MAC. Despite struggling through group work, assignments, exams, or whatever the struggle of the week, we must also remember that we are human. University has brought many of us to the limits of our physical and emotional health. Certainly, there are days when we are functioning on very few hours of sleep and completely dependent on coffee as our energy source. But through these moments, we have developed critical self-care skills in the process and learned what is best for us. Whether it was intramural sports or a solo run, a writing club, or time alone with a notebook at a cafe, parties with friends, or winding down in bed with a movie and a cup of tea, we have learned the how and why of carving out time to enjoy and care for ourselves. These moments of self-reflection have allowed us to overcome the hills and mountains during our journey. I hope that as we continue, we remember the importance of having this personal time, no matter what the future brings and the benefits it gives us. Today, I challenge all of us to think back to a moment when we felt helpless, scared, or anxious. I want us to remember that even when it may have felt impossible at times, we have made it here today. Those are the moments that will allow us to grow, motivate, teach, share, and inspire each other. Those are the true learning experiences that we will carry with us as we move forward and make a meaningful impact in the world. Or to just shake things up a bit. Today is not the end. It is only the beginning to another, greater chapter of our lives. So today, be proud of this moment and your accomplishments thus far. Congratulations, class of 2015.
May I call upon Dr. Deane, who will present the Distinguished University Professors.
The Senate of McMaster University awards the title of Distinguished University Professor to exceptional individuals whose contributions to research, scholarship, education, and service are truly outstanding. This is McMaster's highest honor for its faculty members. Madam Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present McMaster's new Distinguished University Professor, Deborah Cook. Dr. Cook has been called the quintessential clinician scientist and one of the world's 5 influential leaders in evidence-based medicine. After completing her medical degree, residency, and research training here at McMaster, Dr. Cook joined the faculty in 1990. She is a professor in the Department of Medicine and the Department of Clinical Epidemiology and Biostatistics. She is a world authority in critical care medicine, evidence-based medicine, and health research methodology, including randomized trials and systematic review methodology. However, she has not just advanced healthcare and the conduct of research. She has also addressed the challenging area of ethical issues in critical care, particularly the understanding of end-of-life care in the intensive care unit. She is known for her gifts for teaching not just the art and science of medicine, but also the heart of medicine. At the national level, she co-founded the Canadian Critical Care Trials Group, a prestigious organization with a focus on clinical research in critical care medicine. She has mentored more than 50 scientists, clinicians, and students in medicine, but also in nursing, physical therapy, and pharmacy. She is a highly sought-after speaker, and she has accepted more than 300 opportunities to give talks around the world over the past 3 decades. The author of hundreds of highly cited scientific publications, her honors include fellowship in both the Royal Society of Canada and the Canadian Academy of Health Sciences. She is also an officer of the Order of Canada. Congratulations, Dr. Cook. Well done. Really deserved honor. You want to post a photo? It is also true that the title of Distinguished University Professor is intended to recognize the complete scholar. The ideal candidate will have an internationally recognized research record, sustained excellence in education, and an impressive history of service. Madam Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present McMaster's second new Distinguished University Professor, Paul O'Byrne. Dr. O'Byrne is Professor and Chair of the Department of Medicine of the Michael G. DeGroote School of Medicine and acknowledged as a world leader in respiratory medicine and science. He joined the McMaster faculty in 1984. He was appointed Chair of the Department of Medicine in 2002 and is currently serving an unprecedented third term. Seldom does one individual change the fundamental understanding of an illness and develop treatments that improve the lives of patients around the world. Dr. O'Byrne has done this for people with asthma. His early studies challenged preconceptions by demonstrating that asthma is inflammation-driven. And building on these studies, he developed novel treatments and influenced treatment guidelines worldwide. This research output has resulted in 390 publications in peer-reviewed journals, 98 book chapters, and 10 books. An example of his international standing was his appointment in 2004 as chair of the Global Initiative for Asthma. This initiative was funded by the World Health Organization and the US National Institutes of Health to develop global asthma diagnosis and management guidelines. Dr. O'Byrne has supervised many graduate students and postdoctoral fellows. His innovation led to the development of Canada's first outpatient clinical teaching unit, the Boris Clinic, which opened last year. As chair, he has seen the Department of Medicine double in size, now with 230 full-time faculty members and more than $200 million in research funding. Among his many awards and honorary fellowships, Dr. O'Byrne has received the James H. Graham Award of Merit from the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada and the Congress Chair Award and Medal of the European Respiratory Society. Congratulations, Dr. O'Byrne.
May I call upon our President, Patrick Deane, once again, who will present the President's Award of Excellence in Student Leadership.
Would Ambika Tekpal please come forward? Ambika Tekpal knows what it takes to make a difference, both on campus and within the community. She is a natural leader, a compassionate caregiver, and a dedicated volunteer. Throughout her time at McMaster, Ambika has made huge efforts to improve the lives of all of those around her. Most recently, she has served with grace and aplomb as co-president of McMaster Smiling Over Sickness, an organization she has been involved with for the past 3 years. During her time at SOS, Ambika has made vital contributions to the greater Hamilton community through her involvement in volunteer-run events for local children, volunteering at McMaster Children's Hospital, and raising funds for local organizations in support of sick children and their families. She has also served as a member of the McMaster University Red Cross Council and the McMaster chapter of United Against Gendercide, an organization that was created to fight gender discrimination around the globe. In each of these roles, Ambika's passion for helping others and commitment to bettering her community has earned her a reputation as a truly selfless individual. On campus, Ambika has played a key role in furthering the efforts of MSU Diversity Services. She has also worked tirelessly to promote an open, accessible, and inclusive environment for all those at McMaster through her involvement in the Multiculturalism Committee. In addition to holding 2 teaching assistant positions, she has also volunteered her time and expertise to the McMaster Mentorship Program, helping international students become familiar with Canada. She is a past recipient of numerous prestigious awards, including Community Contribution Award, the Rotary Club of Hamilton Scholarship, the Edwin Marwin Daly Memorial Scholarship, the J. Lynn Watson Award for Community Service, and the McMaster Students' Union Club of the Year, awarded to Smiling Over Sickness. Congratulations, Ambika. That is very good. Very well done. Very well.
May I introduce Dr. John Kelton, Dean and Vice President, Health Sciences, to deliver the Health Sciences Address.
Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, honorary degree recipients, distinguished university professors, guests, but most of all, graduates of McMaster 2015. A couple of weeks ago, I was visiting my parents in Kingsville near Windsor for Mother's Day. And I was happy to spend some time with my dad, soon to be 100, and my mom, soon to be 99. Graduates, as scientists say, longevity is genetic, so choose your parents carefully. We had an early dinner, as older people do, and through the window, we were surprised to see a bald eagle out over Lake Erie. It was a wonderful sight and also a sign of the returning health of our lakes. My dad did what dads, in fact, what all men are supposed to do. He offered up trivia. At 2 kilometers, he said, an eagle can distinguish a dime from a quarter. That gave me pause. I've always known birds, particularly raptors, have extraordinarily acute vision, but I started thinking, how would an eagle know or even want to know the difference between a quarter or a dime? My mom snorted, that's not possible. I was assigned the task to verify my dad's claim. Here's what I discovered. All birds, but especially birds of prey, have exceptional vision. They've got deep fovea. They have densely arranged cones circling the macula, but most of all, their optic lobes fill much of the brain, crowding out other components and literally and metaphorically producing a bird brain. But a bird is perfectly evolved for outstanding visual perception. During the drive back to Hamilton, I was thinking about the eagle, but also how other mammalian brains are so different from ours. I recall this February, I was walking our dogs down the streets in Dundas. It was dark, it was still, with the lightest of breeze in my face. Suddenly, both dogs, almost as one, lifted their nose and inhaled deeply. Their eyes scanned back and forth, their ears perked up, they were barking furiously. A block away, 2 blocks away, 3 deer stood up and bolted into the darkness. Since then, I've learned that a dog can smell 100,000 times to 1,000,000 times more acutely than a human. They can distinguish, separate, and analyze molecules across cribriform plates within olfactory turbinates at a part per billion. Take away 4, 5, 6 logs, and you're at our level, which for me, under certain circumstances, is just fine. So dogs also have an acuity of vision well beyond humans, but not even close to birds. Yet in the evolutionary trade-off of cortical neurons, they gave up visual acuity for an olfactory acuity second to none. In the billions of random, yet ultimately purposeful genetic sorting that's occurred over millions of years in the process we call evolution, humans have traded away olfactory lobes, cortical lobes, occipital lobes in return for the most marvelous collection of crisscrossing neurons called the frontal cortex. Today, if it was possible to touch magically one part of my brain, I could put a finger on the part of my brain which is smaller than a fingernail that is allowing me to say this speech. A different part is letting me speak. But what I couldn't find in my brain is that part that allows me and families to feel the pride in our graduates. In 2015, we know absolutely the least about the aspects of the human brain that contribute the most to making us human. And for me, at the heart of these special, distinctly human attributes is kindness. A couple of months ago, thinking about today, I read the book by David Brooks, I'd recommend it to you, entitled The Road to Character. Brooks talks about two important traits in our lives: your resume virtues and your eulogy virtues. Today is the day for your resume. But somehow, I doubt that even as important as today is for all of us, today will not be the defining factor of your lives. I'm about to begin my final year as Dean of Health Sciences, and a few people have asked me, what might I have done differently? One experience sticks with me that has absolutely nothing to do with my role, with my job, with my career, or my resume. But it has everything to do with what it means to be a human, a eulogy virtue. 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, I was leaving my medical clinic on the 3rd floor, just a routine day. I stepped into the elevator thinking about routine things, unimportant things. Already in the elevator were 3 people. On the stretcher was a middle-aged woman, obviously on her way to surgery. At the foot and at the head of the stretcher stood a nurse and a medical student. The two of them were engaged in an enthusiastic discussion about something. I think it was American Idol. The elevator stopped on the surgery floor, and for the first time, I looked at the woman. She was below our plane of observation. That 3 feet was as though she wasn't there. And I noticed she was staring intensely, which in her case meant she was staring intensely straight up. They rolled her out the door, great efficiency. As the elevator continued downward, I had to look up and see what she was looking at. Above me was a yellowing plastic grill, dusty lights. The fan beside it was choked with cobwebs. She was listening to American Idol chatter. She was looking at the elevator ceiling, and that was her experience as she was going into surgery. Today, I don't know if it was minor or if it was major, but for her, it would have been a time of intense anxiety, concern, and worry. I thought about it, I stopped, I went straight back upstairs. She'd gone into the OR. I paused. I wished I had spoken to her. I wished I had been kind. It would have taken me almost nothing. But you know, I've learned that sometimes, in some moments, and on some days, kindness can seem like heavy lifting. You know, graduates, there's always an opportunity for kindness, always. You communicate in 144 characters. How long does it take to say a kind word, to make a reassuring gesture? Passing up those opportunities, as I discovered, lay the bricks of regret in your lives. In our house is a sign my wife Kathleen, here today, as she always is, brought from her folks' house to our house. The sign says, "No act of kindness, however small, is ever wasted." David Brooks later writes about reaching a certain age. That's the age I'm at. He says, you will start to think back about the people who influenced your life. For me, people like John Evans, people like David Sackett. I remember John and David's talents, their brilliance, their discoveries, but honestly, most of all, I remember how they made me feel. Their empathy, their compassion, their kindness. These are the connective tissues of our society, of our communities, and of our families. Those capacities are uniquely ours, uniquely human. I've read that cognitive psychologists have indicated that there is a remarkable, near miraculous thing. It turns out that these, the most noble of human thoughts, they can be learned, practiced like physical skills, and honed. We can work to become more empathetic, more compassionate. We can become more kind. Of course, we can ignore these abilities, and they, like a muscle, they will atrophy. It turns out my father was right, but I didn't tell my mom. An eagle can differentiate a dime from a quarter at 2 kilometers. A dog can smell unseen deer from blocks away. That's what they were built to do. As humans, we too were built to accomplish certain amazing feats. As you go forward in your careers and your lives, you will accomplish amazing feats. I have no doubt you will build on your resume virtues. We hope you pursue your careers with enthusiasm and celebrate, and we will have great pride in your headlining accomplishments. Some of you may cure diseases. Some of you may build hospitals, craft policy, deliver babies. We will be proud of you, and you should be proud too. But most of all, we hope you use your evolutionary gifts to their advantage, because we are different from eagles. An eagle in a fog can't see. A dog, when the winds are shifting, can't smell. But you will always have the choice to use those gifts that make us distinctly human: kindness, compassion, caring, and those other attributes. These are the actions and the decisions. They stay with you, and they will stay with you, and they will stay with others that you've touched. They stay forever. Thank you, congratulations, all best wishes.
May I now introduce to you Ms. Karen McQuigg, a representative of the McMaster Alumni Association, who will deliver the Alumni Association address.
Chancellor Labarge, President Deane, McMaster faculty, fellow alumni, honored guests, and members of the McMaster class of 2015. The McMaster Alumni Association is both a custodian of tradition and a champion of the next big thing. We're equally about the grads who have been part of the Mac family for 8 decades, and the 35% of Mac alumni who were born after the release of E.T. and Rocky III. The McMaster Alumni Association must be knowledgeable about the McMaster Ladies Literary Society, yes, there was once a thing, as we are about Mac Green or the Queer Students Community Center. But while we are immensely aware of all of these changes, we also know that many things in the Mac alumni family are constant. Good advice, for example, is often timeless. So I'd like to read to you from a message written by our university president to McMaster's newest alumni. I think the message would be as applicable 6 or 7 decades ago as it is today. Good alumni, he wrote, are a combination of advertisement, scout, correspondent, and benefactor. They are advertisements because of their own achievements, and success in profession, business, or in public reputation is a priceless contribution that graduates can make. Alumni who are good scouts in the sense that they are always on the watch for good students to direct to McMaster are invaluable assets, and many graduates can do much to guarantee succession. To be good correspondents means simply keeping touch with the alumni office in such matters as change of address and personal news of occupation and family. And beyond this, there is the opportunity to join the noble company of benefactors who help to guarantee that coming generations of students will have better facilities than we had in our day. Members of the class of 2015, these are the words of your president, President George Peel Gilmore. And the passages I read are from a message he wrote for the April 1951 edition of the McMaster Alumni News. Today, his overall message is certainly relevant, but the tools the Alumni Association uses are far more varied than they were just 7 years after the end of World War II. In your lives as alumni, you will receive the alumni magazine, the McMaster Times, which wouldn't seem out of place in the 50s, but you can also be part of the association's online community, follow the association on Twitter, or access value-added services like home, auto, and life insurance. You can also follow your fellow alumni at one of the hundreds of events we organize annually in Hamilton, across Canada, and around the world. There's way more information at alumni.mcmaster.ca or on GradMac, which you receive backstage, so I'll stop the sales pitch here. I do hope, however, you will participate somewhere at some time at some place. Sorry. When you're ready, the McMaster Alumni Association will be ready for you, offering a wide-ranging way of events to find your path back to your alma mater. So, to the class of 2015, I offer you my most sincere congratulations on your academic accomplishments, on your graduation, and your first moments as members of the McMaster alumni family. Congratulations, welcome, and remember, once a marauder, always a marauder.
May I invite Dr. Deane back to the podium to deliver the President's address.
Madam Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, graduates, it cannot have escaped your notice that you're leaving McMaster at a time when the value of a university education, and by implication the obligations of institutions like ours, is being hotly debated, not only in Canada but elsewhere in North America and in Europe. Broadly speaking, the argument one hears in Ottawa, Queen's Park, and the mainstream media is that universities need to be more responsive to the policy-driven demands of government, that they need to be focused above all else on preparing young people to enter the workforce, and that they need to concentrate on the immediate needs of the economy as well as the short-term career aspirations of the graduate. Now, its critics dismiss this as what is often referred to as a narrowly instrumental approach to higher education. And critics argue for a much broader view in which the aim is not merely to train, but to educate the student. And as you leave the university today, I hope you feel prepared to take up the cause for that latter view. A university is a university precisely because it does not exist exclusively to serve short-term societal or economic goals. Institutions like ours operate on both the short and the long horizon. On the one hand, they train students to go out into the world with both general and specific skills necessary to the well-being of society. They work with contemporary problems, and they render appropriate the discoveries and understanding that they generate. On the other hand, they forage in realms of abstraction and domains of inquiry that may not appear immediately relevant to others, but have proven potential to yield great future benefit. Those last words come from a document issued nearly a decade ago by the League of European Research Universities, but their equivalent is to be found in a document called the Magna Charta Universitatum, which McMaster University signed in 2014. And in that document, we're told this. This is a quote: "Freedom in research and training is the fundamental principle of university life. and governments and universities, each as far as in them lies, must ensure respect for this fundamental requirement. Rejecting intolerance and always open to dialogue, a university is an ideal meeting ground for teachers capable of imparting their knowledge and well-equipped to develop it by research and innovation, and for students entitled, able, and willing to enrich their minds with that knowledge." End of quote. By being here today, you have demonstrated yourselves both able and willing, and you have undoubtedly been enriched in ways that are apparent to you today and will be in other ways of which you are possibly unaware for many years to come. But in the context of the present debate about the purpose of universities, narrowly instrumental or broadly educational, I wonder how many of you are aware that behind the program of study each of you has pursued, however professional and narrowly defined that program may at times have seemed to you, stands not, as in the case of the high school system, a consensus curriculum developed by ministry bureaucrats, indifferent to the intellectual assets and missions of particular institutions. But instead, what stands behind that is a record of research and reflection, particular to McMaster University and the scholars who work here, both to educate you and to advance their disciplines through research conducted to the highest standards. At McMaster, as at any research-intensive institution, we regard the work of educating students and of extending the boundaries of knowledge through research as inseparable and mutually reinforcing activities. However much we may endorse the notion that institutions like ours exist for the advancement of the nation's well-being and must be key contributors, therefore, to societal and economic development, we demur at the narrow or reductive application of this idea. We do not accept, in other words, that the value of the university consists entirely or even principally in its ability to deliver outcomes as mandated by government from time to time. This is not to say that we're indifferent to those outcomes or that we will not work to deliver them. Instead, it means that we are and must always be focused on the bigger picture of the individual and the longer view of our society. We offer education rather than job training. We're interested in asking questions as well as applying the answers we have found. We strive to maintain dynamic connections between theory and practice, wisdom and technical knowledge, and we approach the world with a desire to see and understand it whole. Coincidentally, that means that universities are exactly what a knowledge society needs, and the outcomes mandated by government will in all likelihood be delivered. But that does not mean that the value of universities is reducible to the sum of social, economic, or governmental needs at any given time. You will each have had experiences during your time at McMaster that opened a window on the kind of place that this is, on the kind of activities above, beyond, and yet integrated with your experiences in the classroom or the lab or the clinic that define us as an institution and that proclaim us as a university. You may have watched an intervention in a clinical setting that was original, effective, and clearly influenced by your professor's research. You may have visited or even worked in your professor's laboratory and imbibed firsthand the patience and the discipline required to conduct meaningful inquiry. As well, you'll have experienced the excitement of discovery. Were you in cultural studies or sociology, you may have sat surprised in astonishment as your instructor ascended into the intellectual stratosphere, the issue or the text then under discussion, having intersected with his or her decades-long mental engagement with a particular aspect of the subject. These are the epiphanies by which the research life of the university discloses itself to its members every day. Even to those of you whose degree requirements do not allow much lateral investigation, whose focus is comparatively narrow, prescribed by accreditation, or in some cases simply very technical. But were you to set out to explore that research life in all its richness, you would discover why it is that McMaster has for years been consistently ranked as one of the top 100 universities in the world. Why specifically the life sciences and medicine at McMaster has consistently been ranked even higher than that. And why your degree from this institution will bring you respect, recognition, and yes, the things we all want from our lives, the potential for a successful career and a lifetime of learning and discovery. Even if you're not always aware of it or able to articulate what it means, you are the product of a research-focused institution, and one no less student-centered for being so. And the ethos of such an institution, with its focus on curiosity, investigation, evidence, and analysis, is precisely that which equips you for long-term success in your life beyond this ceremony. I'm going to give you a quick tour. If, prompted by those in-class epiphanies which I mentioned, you were to begin more systematically to probe the research dimension of McMaster, where would your journey take you? It might take you into any one of our more than 50 research institutes and centers, from the Michael G. de Groot Institute for Infectious Disease Research to the Brockhaus Institute for Materials Research, from the Cannes Child Center for Childhood Disability Research to the Center for Functional Genomics, from the Center for Peace Studies to the Farncombe Family Digestive Health Research Institute, from the Gilbrea Center for Studies in Aging to the Institute on Globalization and the Human Condition, from the McMaster Center for Software Certification to the McMaster E-Business Research Center, to the McMaster Center for Music and the Mind, or the Origins Institute, or the McMaster Paleogenetics Institute, or the Offord Center for Child Studies, and I could go on. You might want to investigate such facilities as the high-throughput screening laboratory, the electron microscopy facility in the Faculty of Health Sciences, the McMaster Nuclear Reactor, the Nursing Effectiveness, Utilization, and Outcomes Research Unit, the William J. McCallin Planetarium, the Canadian Center for Electron Microscopy, and so on. Do you know that in the basement of the Mills Library can be found one of the most outstanding scholarly resources in Canada, the William Reddy Division of Archives and Research Collections? There you will discover manuscripts, radio and television scripts, and correspondence by the Irish playwright Samuel Beckett, the papers of Canadian historian Pierre Burton, 36.5 meters of shelves of manuscripts, diaries, and other materials relating to Vera Brittain, the British writer, lecturer, pacifist, and feminist. You'll also find there the papers of Farley Mowat and many other documents, a host of valuable and illuminating documents vitally important for primary research in literature, history, music, cultural studies, business, and many other fields. An occupying pride of place in the basement of Mills Library are the Bertrand Russell Archives, an unparalleled collection of primary and secondary materials relating to Bertrand Russell, the British philosopher, logician, and essayist who won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1950. Visit Mills, and you can sit at Russell's desk. You can peruse his library, admire the wing chair in which he sat to read, and explore, through his own books, the world of 20th century philosophy, literature, politics, and culture. The Russell Archive is a priceless resource for research in the humanities, in history, and politics. And like the labs, centers, and institutes which I mentioned, it stands as testimony to the seriousness with which McMaster University has committed itself over the last 128 years to the discovery of knowledge. It embodies, facilitates, and testifies to that broader view of the university's mission to which I referred at the outset, insisting by its presence that we not concede to a narrowly instrumental role that governments or our society would, from time to time, seek to impose on us. And the Russell Archive literally does testify to the importance of that broader view. For in Russell's writings, you will find a description of the goal of the university, which I hope you will always remember, and which I hope you will seek to uphold as you establish yourselves in your careers and claim your rightful place as leaders in our province, our country, and beyond. In an essay from the late 50s entitled University Education, he wrote this: "Truth is a shining goddess, always veiled, always distant, never wholly approachable, but worthy of all the devotion of which the human spirit is capable." Your university education may have trained you in specific skills, but its unique and longest-lasting gift to you will have been to have kindled your curiosity about truth and your joy in discovery. It is important to say these things and to know these things about the university, because outside of this university family, the benefits of this unique milieu are not well enough understood. Indeed, even when they are understood, they are sometimes also feared. And there is no better explanation for the cause of that fear than this observation, again from Bertrand Russell. It's a long quote, but it is a marvelous quote. "Men fear thought as they fear nothing else on earth, more than ruin, more even than death. Thought is subversive and revolutionary, destructive and terrible. Thought is merciless to privilege, established institutions, and comfortable habits. Thought is anarchic and lawless." Remember what Linda said to you about the messiness of learning. "Thought is indifferent to authority, careless of the well-tried wisdom of the ages. Thought looks into the pit of hell and is not afraid. It sees man a feeble speck, surrounded by unfathomable depths of silence, yet it bears itself proudly, as unmoved as if it were the Lord of the universe. Thought is great and swift and free, the light of the world and the chief glory of man." End of quote. You are all the products of an institution devoted above all else to thought. And paradoxically, your ability to shape a stable, healthy, and equitable nation in the future will depend on the degree to which you have learned and internalized the corrosive, subversive power of that supreme faculty. That's my message. I hope you will turn the power of your own minds on it and on the prospects for all of us in this world in the future. Congratulations and my warmest best wishes to you all.
Congratulations to the class of 2015. As a fellow McMaster alumna, I'm looking forward to seeing where you go from here. And as Craig eloquently said, you are now graduates and members of this wonderful group of alumni. Take advantage of this new community that you're now part of. As all of you should have realized by now, we're a pretty special group. Dr. Davies, Dr. Cook, Dr. O'Byrne, and Ms. Chapel, congratulations on your accomplishments. You represent the best of what McMaster values, and we are honored and proud to have you as members of the McMaster family. Dr. Deane and Dr. Kelton, you've given us a lot to think about, and I hope that all of you reflect at some point after your celebrations on what they did say as you leave here. But as I look at what they said and I look at our honorees, it just struck me of how lucky we are. Having recently read that the Minister of Education in Greece has now announced there are going to be no entrance exams. There is no requirement, by the way, to finish your degree in any reasonable period of time. And furthermore, there should be no foreign professors at the university. His comment was, this concept of excellent education is unnecessary. We're lucky to be in a country that values education, maybe not always with as much money as we would like, but nevertheless it is valued. And even more, to be a part of a university which doesn't even question the concept. It is something that is absolutely integral to what we are. And I hope you all realize just how lucky we are to be part of that. And my very best wishes to all of you. Housekeeping issues. My apologies. Here are your housekeeping issues. Flowers that have been delivered for graduates will be available at the coat check in the main lobby. I would ask that you please remain standing at your seats until the academic procession and the graduates have left the hall. Finally, please join now in the singing of our national anthem, and after the singing of the anthem, this convocation stands adjourned.